Greetings, community, and welcome to Entropy and Comics and another edition of Kevin's most anticipated reads tomorrow for New Comic Book Day, 5/28, 2025. And here we are once again, and it's great to be alive. I want to take a moment and appreciate all of you that cruise on through. That you would only be half as much as fun. I'm just saying that because it's true. I'm just saying. Let's go ahead and jump right into it, and let's start it off by cruising over to Vault. Vault's going to bring us Money Shot, Big Bang, issue number 3. Seeley's is killing it with this book. He always has. This has been a series that I want to say it's like volume 4 deep. Issue 0 go ahead and gave us a little introduction of what to expect on the first series that we're going to receive in quite some time. It's been well over 6 months since we last seen these gang cruising out in the cosmos, doing what they do for science and a little bit of porn fun. This series, if you're not ready for it, is purely adult. I wouldn't recommend it to anybody that's willing to go ahead and see something completely vulgar, completely imaginative, different, fun, does not take itself seriously, and has one goal in mind: to entertain the reader. I really enjoy this book, and I just look forward to every time it comes out. So again, by Vault, Money Shot, Big Bang, issue number 3, coming out on 5/28, 2025. Yo, Jack, how you do? Hope all is well with you. Appreciate you being here, buddy. Seriously. All right, let's cruise out from Vault. Move over to Marvel. They're going to bring us starting off with Doom's Division, issue number 3. Doom's Division is now divided seemingly, and they're all questioning their reasoning and their rhyme for what they're doing. The Tiger Division initially was doing what they thought was going to be right. Everyone's buying into the idea of Doom saving the planet. We all know really what he wants. It's just power, take over the world, put his little fingerprint on, humanity, and say that if it wasn't for him, we couldn't have done it. You know what I mean? That's really what it's all about. And again, the Tiger Division, I think, are coming to this conclusion. You see some inner fighting, and that's where we're going to get with issue number 3. I've been enjoying it. It's been a strong tie-in to the overall Doom main storyline. As far as, is it necessary? No. Is it good? It's been fun. Just saying. Doom's Division, issue number 3, coming out for you and me on 5/28, 2025. Yo, Agu, how you do? Hope all is well. All right, let's cruise out from that and talk over at the Eddie Brock Carnage side, issue number 4. Soul is killing it with this book. I mean, it's not easy to write a good visceral storyline, and when it comes to Carnage, Carnage is most of all the most, again, visceral of all the symbiotes. This is not one that's easy to write for, and has actually put his mainstay in the symbiote world as much as Venom has. And now that Brock's hanging out with him, almost to some degree more. I can't get enough of this thing, and it just missed out. I would have to place it in my top 3 when it comes to what's coming out tomorrow that I'm most anticipating to read, and I can't wait to get a hold of it. Eddie Brock Carnage, issue number 4 is a solid read. Though I haven't got to 4 yet, the series is good. And again, of the series, I like where it's heading. They're actually in pursuit of Muse, who we haven't seen outside of really the normal storyline with the whole Daredevil thing. And now we're seeing something is gnarly and is chaotic and just bloodthirsty and Carnage as Carnage. It's interesting to see this character not only being utilized in other storylines, but the fact that Misty Knight is moving in while this is happening. I like all these characters and I can't get enough. So I'm really digging Eddie Brock's Carnage. Issue number 4 coming out to you and me, 5/28, 2025. Let's move on from that. Let's talk about Spider-Boy. Yeah, you thought that was going to be my number 1, huh? No, it missed out. And believe it or not, it didn't even make it in the top 3. It was actually number 5 on my list. Spider-Boy issue number 19 is not only something I've been looking forward to, yes, but it is an introduction to Mr. Negative working his way into the Spider series again, and making his way into Spider-Boy as one of the main, like, Class A fighters that this villain-wise has to play with as far as Spider-Boy is concerned in the storyline that he's now contending with, again, a mainstay player that he wasn't supposed to be playing with. this is cool. This is getting real, and I can't wait to see what happens after this. So Spider-Boy issue number 19, like I said, it's in the top 5. Didn't quite make it on the top 1. Yo, Jigs, how you do? Hope all is well with you. Appreciate you being here. All right, let's move out for the Spider-Boy and talk over at Ultimate Spider-Man issue number 17. What really can I say that I've been really enjoying the whole father and son type thing? This is something that is a dynamic that we don't normally see when it comes to a Spider-Man series. So I'm just enjoying it for what it is. And the whole series, in my opinion, outside of the Ultimates, this is the main storyline, to go ahead and give us a breakdown of what's happening in this Ultimate Universe, is the most solid written of the series. Definitely that I've been enjoying. I've really been digging the Ultimate Spider-Man. And, you know, the Ultimates are number 2 on my list, and I just can't get enough. So not only am I enjoying the series, but now that we're ramping up, we're only, 5 months away from this everything coming to a head. It seems like there's a little bit more tension mounting, and I've really been enjoying the story as it does. Ultimate Spider-Man issue number 17 coming out on tomorrow, New Wednesday, 5/28/2025. Let's move out from that, talk about Venom and Original Sin issue number 1. Really, I don't know much about this outside of the fact that this was originally released as a digital story. So what we're getting is just a printed version of what was already pre-existing out there. I know nothing of this, other we're going to get some breakdown of the origin of the Illuminated. I'm curious. See where it goes. So again, Venom, Original Sin, issue number 1, coming out on 5/28/2025. Let's move out from the Marvel stuff. Let's cruise over to IDW. They're going to give us one book that I'm looking forward to, and one only. It's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, issue number 10. After the beatdown that the Foot Clan brought onto our Turtles, they need to regroup. They need to figure out how to work together. They need to put a lot of ego aside. Hopefully they won't be as nutcase as they are. Everyone's got a little bit of issues, and they needed to get together now. I really been enjoying this series. Aaron's doing not only a wonderful job on giving us turtles that are really bringing a whole lot of, just action, suspense, gravity. It just seems like at every turning moment, something really gnarly could happen. I mean, before we got these stories that you can see that they were trying to present something that you saw that a lot of people's lives, rested on their decisions, but none seemingly written as well as this, in my opinion, when it comes to how well it does tie into the overall feeling that I believe Eastman was always trying to portray in his own storylines. I'm just understanding really what's trying to be conveyed, and I'm really, in some regards, feeling these stories as it's being written. And yeah, I'm all in. I really have to admit that, I was somewhat a fan of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, but as well as this thing is written, it's just got a hook of me deep, and I just can't let go. It just, no matter what I do, I'm caught. So Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles issue number 10 coming out tomorrow. Foot Clan, be gentle. Come on, boys, you can rally it again. Moving off from the IDW, let's cruise over to Image, and this is where we're going to finish out. Image is going to go ahead and bring us, starting off with Department of Truth, issue 30. I guess really what I can only say about this is, as everything's been wrapping up, we've been focusing on a few characters as we've been well established in the main stake of the storyline. Now we're getting Martin Barker. I don't know who this person really is, or why I don't know this person, or what's going on, but it seems like this whole issue is around this character. Really what's been going on is we've been lied to, then lied to, then lied to, and seemingly it's all mounting to someone else breaking this down to go ahead and convince us of what is. I don't know what's going on anymore. I've really been enjoying this series, and the more I think I have an idea what's going on, the less I really truly do. And it's been enjoyable as a ride, so I'm going to keep I'm just putting on another seatbelt, I guess, and just enjoying it for what it is. Yeah, Department of Truth has, for me, been really enjoyable. It's not necessarily for someone that's just deciding that they want to go ahead and jump in on the series. You have to go way back, and do start from the beginning and jump into multiple volumes until you hit now. I'm now 3 years deep in the story, and it's got its hook in me, as I said. So here we are, just like TMMT, Department of Truth. I'm 30 issues deep, and I'm not going anywhere anytime soon. Moving on from the Department of Truth and cruise over to Pharaoh issue number 13. There's another one that I've been really all in. I am a massive Tony Fleeks fan, both in his art and his in writing. I am a horror fan at the same point. It needs to be something that just is not just horror, not just gore, not just blood for the sake of just shock, but moreover, give me a story that's not only going to tie me in and hold me riveted to the overall storyline, but the fact that you're giving me suspense, the fact that I am tied into these characters, the fact that I actually feel for these characters, and they are is fictitious animals. Yeah, that it's another reason why I really enjoy the writing of Tony. Tony is not only doing a wonderful job giving us a great story in this, but here we are, 13 issues into it, meaning a solid year plus. And the consistency of this writing is rather almost unparalleled and most out there. The story in here is we're now into the second arc per se, and the few left that are around are now trying to find their, just if nothing else, somewhere kind of safe to get a little bit of rest. And here we are landing in this pet supply superstore, and it's seeming like a sanctuary come true with love. It almost seems too good to be true. As we well know, when we see storylines like Walking Dead and we seem like we go ahead and could take a breath, it's usually when we get socked in the stomach and we lose all breath in totality. So I am hoping that that's not what we get in issue 13. I would love to be able to see these characters have just one issue of a moment where they can go ahead and take a breath, and hopefully 13 is it. I'm doubting it. Moving on from Pharaoh issue number 13, let's talk about G.I. Joe issue number 7. This is also starting another arc. This is a whole new Joe. That's all I really can say. We're now having an understanding of these are the three main storylines between Void, Rivals, Transformers, G.I. Joe. After new comic book day, free comic book day. What was that? Almost 2.5 weeks ago. My point, 3 weeks. 3 weeks. There we go. Point being is, no, it was on a Saturday, is that we've now entered a whole new place with this whole Joe, Transformers, and Void Rivals. We now see how more of them are now interlinked, intertwined, interdependent in some regards. So here we are with G.I. Joe with new appearances making their way, and how long they're going to make their stake as far as ongoing. Let's see. All I can say is that they're beach oriented, and I can't wait to get my hands on this new issue. Really been enjoying what we've been getting as far as the G.I. Joe, Transformers, and Void Rivals. It's not something that I was really reading at all as a kid, and now I just can't let it go. All in on this whole Energon universe. Moving out from the G.I. Joe issue number 7, coming out to you and me on 2025 Wednesday. It is a 5/28. Let's talk about Universal Monsters Mummy issue number 3. This is going to be a quick one because I'm just essentially going to reiterate what I say about all these Universal Monsters. I like how they take pre-existing classic characters and just give us a new version on something that's pre-existing in a way that is not only relevant and something that is paying a decent homage and heralding the shoulders in which these writers are presently standing on, but they're also hooking me in a way that I never expect. When you humanize these monsters more in a way that was first introduced to us as young ones, or when we first got, wind of these characters, when we first saw these things, they were presented in the same way. They were always presented in this monstrous way, which was easy to go ahead and just associate ourselves in any way of any humanity towards these things. But when you tie that very humanity into these creatures, and then you are buying into the character and their own storyline, and they're turning into these characters, It's effed up and awesome. These are the stories that I really enjoy, and it's really well written. That's what I'm getting out of all these Universal Monster stories, and The Mummy is by no exception. Another one of these well written stories that the art is definitely reflecting how well the story is being presented. Let's move out from Universal Monsters Mummy issue number 3, and let's cruise over to Void Rivals issue number 19. This is what I was talking about before. Here we are, 19 issues deep. We're nearly well over a year and a half and cruising up on the 2 years of the story has been well written. And we're getting something that was initially presented to us as a universe that we were trying to scratch our heads and figure out what was going on at the same time. But as you well know, doing 2, maybe even 3 things at the same time is rather difficult. By sitting back and letting us see what the story was going to be presented to us, rather develop something that was interesting by all regards. It's really neat to see how well Kirkman was able to foresee and how want to tie all these characters, all these stories in to one another. And like I said before, not only integrate, but make them interdependent upon one another to see how well these characters work with one another allows them to, as we see, start to depend upon one another, allow this universe, this Energon universe, to properly integrate in a way that seemingly to me, when I was first being told about how these stories are going to come out, I was just curious how I was going to do it. Void Rivals not only presented to us a story that is a standalone story, but showed us how well this story can not only integrate and take these 2 other franchises, G.I. Joe and Transformers, and put them together, but show how well it was not only being done by the standalone story of itself being presented, but how well it was showing these other 2 how they're mixing up. Much like a chef on how he's taking these ingredients and throwing them together, we got to see the whole thing happening. That's Void Rivals. It's pretty awesome being in the kitchen. Void Rivals issue number 19 is definitely second on my most anticipated read. And with the whole introduction of the Skuxoid thing, what the heck, Skuxoid? Really? What? 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 And the first appearance of Rekgar, which, I mean, we kind of know that that's not an Autobot, right? Yeah, this is awesome. This is exactly what I'm talking about. How we're getting all these characters and they're doing these multiple crossovers. I say within a few months, we're going to get something heavy that's going to happen between all 3 of these franchises, or 2 franchises, and all 3 of these storylines, multiple crossovers. It's going to be freaking, can you tell how excited I am? But they just missed out because this week's Blue Light Special is Hyde Street, issue number 6. Jeff Johns is killing it. And between Jeff Johns, Portela, I think that's how you pronounce it. Might be Portella. And Reese and Danny Mickey and the whole gang over there. They have a formula that is just amazing. Not only in its delivery, but it brings me back feelings of nostalgia. I really want this to be the third aspect to a franchise that develops for Johns. Hyde Street reminds me of Tales from the Dark. It gives me that whole kind of creepy feeling that, you know, Twilight Zone would present at times. And the cool thing is there's always some type of lesson to be learned. There's some type of, as you see in other main characters that are presented in the storyline, some morals and ethics that are also presented in what they do. They have to garner a bunch of souls to get out of here in this purgatory type place that they're in. Once they hit 10,000, they have the option to go ahead and leave. And X-Ray is just beyond motivated to get out of here. You can see just going out of his mind, tormented and tortured by other individuals that are not only on High Street, but they're also kind of admiring the environment that they're in, which is completely not the way X-Ray works. And he wants out at any cost, even at the cost of he makes his play to go ahead and try to obtain the souls of a whole theater. again, this is an amazing story that I really have been enjoying. The characters that are being presented are in no less perfect or imperfect, and I can identify with some of the things that they do and don't do in their lives. That also allows some self-reflection, but beyond that, as you well know, when we can go ahead and identify with things within some of the stories that we read, I think that's also tantalizing. And it's some of the drive in which that for me, I like to go ahead and take I don't know, just enjoy the read. Take the moment, take the time to go ahead and sit down and just take in all that it is, because sometimes when we rip through these things, we're not getting the full message. This is definitely a book, Hyde Street, that you want to take a moment with, because beyond just the surface of the storyline that it presents, there's definitely a lesson to be learned. All right. Hey, I want to take a moment and thank everybody for being here. Ben, Tony, Jigs, Agu, Jag, and anyone I may have missed. I greatly appreciate you guys hanging out with me. I hope that you go ahead and get the books that you're looking for. Is there anything I may miss? Go ahead and drop it in the comments below. And hey, I appreciate you. Seriously do. And that's it for me. Entropy. You guys have a great night. Bye.